How's it going, everybody? What's up? Moses here. Beautiful day. Today we're going to talk about this build, and want to make kind of like it's been a week since we started this character. There's been a lot of experiments. There's been a couple of other videos talking about this build. This is my first build, and I've learned a lot throughout this week on this game, and we're gonna share some of it because if I wanted to share all, then we're probably gonna need 150 hours because that's roughly how much I spent playing this character, 130. Um, so yeah, warrior, bleeding edge. Let's go through first the skills we are using. This one first, wings of Ishmir. Just take a look at that. I'm not going to go through, but of course, you can check it out and do it for yourselves because everything is super interchangeable. Doesn't cost you anything. You could do that literally at every given moment. Juggernaut, Warpath, and the Bleeding Edge. Now notice that we're not using the broken node that makes you become a god over here, not using it, and we're not using the Kabbalist Grievous Affliction for an additional ailment to make you become an Ultra God. And back when shields were in play, we were not using this broken node that gave you 500 times more damage, or sorry, 100 times more damage than uh, it's supposed to. So throughout this entire week and whatnot since Wilson came out, we've been playing this legitimately and ethically, bleeding edge, just building our character solidly. And what do I mean about that? I mean our character right now is 79. Obviously, we've been farming a lot, playing well over 100 hours at this point. This is our gear. Again, I'm going to hover over everything. We got, um, you know, crit, some attack speed. You don't need to invest too much in attack speed, but it's important that you have like a little bit over 10% for your global attack speed over here. You know, I didn't put any points in. I didn't put any points in agility at this point. Um, it all basically comes from the agility and the attack speed that I found on these pair of pants. Like very recently, they're eye level 187, and these are 183. So these two pretty much cover all my attack speed, and I don't believe that I have any more attack speed. Outside of that, I didn't put any points on toughness as well, uh, but throughout the story, throughout the playthrough, I needed to bring. What I want to say is the game is going to change like a lot from your point of view based on the gear that you have and based on your level. Okay, so a lot of people always ask me, the tree, can you update the tree? Can you update the tree? Guys, it's not like one size fits all. No, you need to see for yourself, and you need to test out for yourself what works out for you. I've been saying that many times. I'm going to say this hopefully for the last time, at least for this character, in this video. Here's the tree. We can go through it, but again, this is a level 79 character with well optimized gear, like absolutely well optimized gear. I've been working, gathering it carefully, choosing the pieces that work for me. For example, here we got that transfer time reduction between willpower rage. We got it over here as well. I got rage cost reduction here, here, and here. So when you have these kind of pieces, and they all also as well rolled well, um, allow you to have the resist, allow you to have the toughness, the life rolls that they give you, as well as your character is level 79, so you can pick a lot of stuff that early on you couldn't. For example, all these all resist nodes, all these life nodes, all these life resist nodes, and so on. This gives you kind of a lot, all of these. Like early on, I didn't pick up all of these, right? We got a lot of health nodes, a lot of all resist nodes. You take these down, and all of a sudden, my character is a lot weaker, right? But this comes with experience. You gather the experience, you level up, you pick up these nodes slowly, and you work your way through. So, talking about resistances, this is now probably the final scores that we have. Um, just beautiful damage reduction numbers that allows us to be really, really tanky. So 85, almost 84, and 81.6 um, for cold material and for elemental damage reduction. And yeah, the major things that we're using in this build to allow us to be really, really defensive are Siege Breaker's Salvatory Anchor and Elevated Gain. These double the resistances that our chest and our helmet gives us if they are heavy. Items have types, and on the top left side you can see helmet heavy, you can see chest piece heavy. Because they're heavy, they will double the resistances, and instead of 1200 total, I will get 2400 total from the chest and from the helm, and then I will use my jewelry pieces to scale these up. What do I mean? The jewelry pieces all have to all resistance score. This thing has 40 to all resistances score. This here has 35 to all resistances score, and the amulet does not, I believe, have to all resist score, but on the three that do, it is a lot. Okay, and this stat exists also over here. As I mentioned before, these are extremely strong nodes, as well as these with the life and the all resists. Um, there's a bunch of them over here with the 20. These will multiply your all resistance scores, right? So it's an extremely important, way of getting your damage reduction from monsters. One way, you could choose to stack dodge, you can stack block, and all that kind of stuff. I haven't tested the dodge character because dodge values, I mean, they're dodgy. It's kind of hard to find, if you really want to have a good dodge chance. I believe you need to have like 150, 200 dodge on a lot of pieces of gear, and then you need to start scaling it with the tree. I kind of had issues. I've kept a couple of pieces, and maybe if we find some more, I'm going to try and test dodge like fully for as a different defensive mechanic. Um, but yeah, this is currently the way I've chosen to gear up my character. It's very, very tanky. Can take on all the content and you know shrug it off. And yeah, so this is the one thing. And then the second thing, we're using Dire Juncture, practice stamina. These make it so that your health is set on 90% of its original value, but damage is split between you taking a hit, it is split 40 60. 40 you take now, 60 you take 1 second later, and during that 1 second you can use a potion, which I used to but now I don't anymore, or you can get leech, which is how we gain back our life for when we do take damage. um, okay, now I want to talk about a couple things. First of all, there was this node right here that people told me, why can't you take this? It's a broken node, yada yada. I personally just don't like it. Frenzied Blows, if you can sustain your rage, I feel whenever I take it, essentially what it does, it doubles your damage if your rage is above 750, but it also doubles the cost um, of your of your of your skills. So essentially, instead of 138, it will double it. Okay, and 138 is a very, very manageable resource cost for Bleeding Edge. Um, but if you're over 750, it will double it, so it's going to be like 276, and that's going to deplete your Bleeding Edge real quickly, and it's going to make for a clunky kind of like gameplay where you're running out, you got to pop the potions, and in high level expeditions, fights are long. They're taking a long time, so you need to manage your resource properly, and you don't want to be kind of like jumpy up and down, and then you run out of potions, and you cannot perform any more attacks. So that kind of sucks. I personally don't like this node, but if you want, you can pick it up. Another thing, uh, I used to use this node, 25 damage when only enemies are within 7 meters in range. 25, and you can make that 30. The thing is that this is an added bonus, it's not a multiplicative. And the second thing about it is that hardly ever you'll face an opponent that's just the one monster. That hardly ever happens, because a lot, if not all, of the bosses will summon ads and will nullify this node. So no point in taking it. People asked me about that. What else? People asked me. There was something else as well. Can't quite put my finger on what it was. There was some red node that people wanted me to take, and I explained them why I don't like. Yeah, maybe it will come back to me. I can add it. I can't quite remember right now. No. Anyways, so this is basically it. When it comes to the tree again, like we're taking these little nodes over here. Right now it's finalized, I guess you can say, but this character I must have respect this tree and tried out different things at least 50 times. Okay, so every time when people ask me, can you update the tree? I can, but 5 minutes from now it can be a tree that is different, that I chose to pick up some other things and test out some other stuff. Okay, and I recommend you to do the same. A big example are like these nodes. I used to early on pick up this 8% damage, 8% damage, 150 rage and willpower. Rage cost. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 point, 6 point, 7 point journey with the rage cost life. These nodes that at the beginning I felt like I needed because none of my gear had rage cost reduction. Later I saw, okay, I just dropped this glove. It has maybe not this one, but maybe one of the other ones. I don't know. This one dropped at level 90, right? This one dropped at 130. But I started seeing items that fit. Well, this one has transfer time, 160. I guess my older gear is not here with me, and I got better pieces with rage cost reduction. What I'm trying to say is that I said, okay, I got this rage cost reduction that is 35% that really make a difference. If you just use that, it's 168 with it. It's like 138, so that's kind of massive, right? And if I pick up all of these nodes, a 7 point journey, right, to reach the maximum rage node and the um, rage cost reduction nodes over here, then I end up basically um, um, in a worse spot because the sum total of these rage cost reduction nodes is going to be 18, and here I'm getting 35, which is almost as double, and here I'm getting 38, which is more than double the node value that I'm getting across the board from the tree. So on the tree, these nodes are very weak, but early on I needed them to manage my resource. This is one example that you may be like, hey Moses, I'm playing your build, I copied your tree, but I don't know how you managed to maintain your rage. Well, that's one of the things. Another thing that I realized pretty early on, that this thing exists, transfer time reduction between willpower and rage, and I stacked that 3 times on my jewelry pieces, and I have that twice rolled on my helmet and my chest. That means, the little black dark bar that covers the yellow bar, once it reaches my rage, I cannot cast anymore, and then I'm going to have to use potions, right? So this is essentially this time reduction, and without these pieces that stack this, I'm going to reach this a lot quicker because you see, it just covers real, it comes real quickly to block, to bottleneck my rage, right? And that time is going to now be reduced. And I'm going to have more freedom with my rage bar, essentially, by equipping all these items that now has this transfer time reduction, and that's essentially what this stat. Why right click doesn't work? Okay, and that's essentially what this stat actually does. Okay, so I didn't see it at first, but then I learned about this skill, and now I can use it. And the bottleneck comes much later, and that's an excellent stat for you to stack. This is another thing, and yeah, all sorts of like essentially the build is is you need to understand like the basic principles around the build. Try and stack as much resistances on the jewelry. That's like the core important things to look for. Okay, you cannot copy my character. This is my character. I mean, there's no way for you to copy my character, but you need to understand the principle on how to build the characters like this, and this is what guides are for. Okay, so you can listen to the explanation, understand the meaning, and then make your own character. I cannot solve your rage cost problems. I cannot uh, paint you a tree of exactly, copy this and work with this for yourselves. No, my character is probably higher than yours, and you need to learn to prioritize, and you need to learn to take the lesson and apply it for yourselves. Okay, so I mean, I'll leave a tree if you want at the bottom of the page, for you guys to have some reference. But yeah, so as leveling goes, people ask me what's the priorities as you're leveling up. So that I can explain, and that I can talk about. So for me, priorities as leveling up were grab the crit, the attack crit, and then I went and grabbed the. Actually, no. Okay, so we grab the crit, and then we get the rage on kill. This is the first thing you should rush for. Okay, the big crit nodes for the attacks, and then rage on kill. Okay, afterwards you can go and check out Furious Appetite. This will change your natural willpower generation into rage generation. After that, you start filling in all of your crit. Okay, you can go through here even, or you can go through here to the crit nodes right here. All of them are very strong. You should pick up all this branch, and then all these 4 nodes of crit over here. That's it when it comes to crit on the tree. Unfortunately, you cannot scale that anymore except for picking up ferocity nodes. There will be some ferocity nodes throughout the tree. I did end up picking up these. I was debating whether to pick up the 4 points over here of toughness, ferocity, toughness, agility. You should pick them up very early, and then unspec from them, and then come back to them very late when your character is like 78, 76, and so on. Why? Because these nodes are very meaningful early on when you don't have any stats, but later on the tree has a problem where you don't have very good nodes to pick up. If you take away these 4 nodes from my own tree, I will be level 75 instead of 79. And if I just leveled up and gained a node to put on the tree, I don't really have very good choices. Okay, I just don't. That's the problem of the tree. I only have like 16% added damage. This is an additive bonus, not very strong. Will add maybe 150 tooltip DPS to a 33k, 32.9k tooltip DPS bleeding edge. So these nodes are not very good. Okay, you have all sorts of other nodes like Where did I have it? This maybe? Yeah, so you got like attack damage. Anyways, we're talking about like really low priority nodes that don't really give you a whole lot. You got the two-handed damage here. At first I thought I'm going to pick up some of that, but you know, I changed my mind. This is a good node, but the travel is so far away to get to. Crit damage essentially is strong. Here there's another crit, here there's another crit with attack damage. But yeah, there are not very good nodes to pick up once you reach very, 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 very late game. So I came back to stats. Stats do provide this bonus. This will multiply your damage 7.74 times, 774%. It's the same. This is what we came back for in the end. And yeah, I also in the very, very end, now my crit chance reaches roughly 70% because I put all my points in ferocity, because I can manage my attack speed and I can manage my health. And yeah, you know, so because of that, I came back to these nodes very, very, very late. So yeah, we said you go to Manic Slaughter and Appetite for Bloodshed, and some crit, and then after that you could pick up that, but I went here, Fierce Appetite, and then you can go all the way to Dire Junction. This is after you pick up the crit, right? So again, crit, rage per kill, and then Fierce Appetite. After that, you fill in all your crit, and then after that, you should probably go to pick up these rage nodes. Early on, you can also have these before you have all the rage cost reduction, and you can have these rage cost reduction nodes and these, and then you go to the defensive Dire Junction. At this point, maybe your character is going to be roughly 50 or 60. And then you start filling in all your defensive stuff. Things start to hurt you, I don't know, around 100 expedition level. And then, you know, hopefully you find a big heavy helm, big heavy chest that will allow you to pick up these and make use of these great defensive nodes right here. They're insanely strong. Yeah, and you pick up this roughly a bit earlier. But again, it's all kind of like how your character develops. It's all based on your you know, character progression. All right, so this is basically it. We're going to make a quick, happy little run to finish this with like a quick 163. Adding some boss modifiers. Hopefully, we won't get the you know, Justicar of the Republic boss, because this guy is pretty annoying. And hopefully, you know, let's add another one. Yeah, and we're going to do an untainted quick run to showcase the build. But yeah, about 20 minutes of talking and about 5 minutes of gameplay. Okay, so this is us. So Untainted, I've been farming a lot in the past couple of days, and I've had you know, I've had a lot of fun farming Untainted. Really has been a pleasure. These are roughly 5, 6, 7 minute runs. Depends on the you know, depends on the monsters that you come across. Depends on whether the Untainted itself, it's kind of bugged right now, and it does this movement where it lifts you up to the sky and drops you down on the ground, and he does that like you know, every 3 seconds, and you gotta dodge it, and it's kind of tough. So yeah, you're getting tossed around like a football, and it's not particularly nice, and it essentially makes the run take a lot longer than it should. But yeah, these are nice runs overall, and I enjoy them, even with the mess, because they're quick. And you're getting loot and you're getting productivity real quick. Oh my goodness, some of these guys are pretty tough. Oh yeah. When you spawn the guy, when you spawn the guy and there he is. Yeah.
I can't do that right now.
Yeah, so he does this where he tosses you on the ground. It is it is kind of annoying. But also, you know, I pick up the 163 not because I can't do it on higher difficulty, but exactly because of this. Um, because he still takes damage when he lifts you up and throws you down. From the bleeding edge, they're still spinning, right? And in 163, he's got just like a low HP bar, which makes it bearable. If I choose like 187, I could still complete it. It would just take way, way, way longer than what I want to spend on a run, because he's kind of bugged right now. But yeah, once they fix it, I'm gonna do it on higher difficulty, because that's where you drop the 187 bases. I've done like several of them, but it's just really, you know, a run that's supposed to take maybe 8 minutes will end up taking 16 minutes instead, and it's just kind of unbearable because you're constantly being thrown and constantly being tossed around, and it's just, you know, you have no control over your character, because yeah. But you do need to kill him when he shows up, because that affects what kind of loot you're getting, and that affects the in the end. Um, so whenever you see him, you should totally kill him. Oh, there he is. So yeah, sometimes he jumps at you and attacks you. This is great, but sometimes he jumps and, you know, lifts you in the air, and he gives a big chunk of progress when he dies. So, is this the end of the dungeon? No. We don't need a lot. In these dungeons, I figured it is better to focus on killing trash quickly than focusing champions. Trash gives decent enough and quick enough progress to spawn the boss, and you really want to do it as quick as you can to get S plus ranking. Okay, the boss is here. Because S plus ranking apparently is the highest score, and that guarantees you um, the most rewards off of this dungeon game mode. I'm gonna try and dodge this guy. Yeah, skip him. Sometimes there's a summoning tower. Don't kill it. Now, loot does not drop except for chests. Now you want this summoning tower because it will keep on bringing you minions. This is why I talked about that node. When enemies are nearby, one nearby enemy, you will not get any kind of bonus buff because it hardly ever exists. You know, so, and you shouldn't take it. And it's an added bonus, not a multiplicative, so it's not even that valuable. And yeah, you want these summoning towers because they keep giving you minions for your flasks. Fights take a long time usually, in 160, 170. Yeah, he's regenerated, I see. But yeah, that's essentially all I've been doing yesterday. Just farming Untainted. It's been a hell of a time. Really, really fun game mode. It costs you additional 1,000 affinity, but yeah. There he is. It's finished now. You can kill this. And we open the chest. S plus is what we usually get, and sometimes you'll get here legendaries, but yeah, sometimes you won't. Sometimes legendaries and uniques will pop off of this chest. In this type of demonstration, none did. But the thing about these is that you can get really cool stats. For example, this weapon allows the bearer to cast Winter's Grasp. Pretty sweet. This here allows +1 pierce to all projectiles. Nothing special on this one. Nothing special here. Nothing special here. Allows to cast Lightbringer. And here, nothing is special. But yeah, I'm gonna keep this here. And I'm gonna talk about something real quick in the next video, because this has been taking too long anyways. So check out the next video. I want to talk about like the building system and the projects, and what are good things and what are bad things that you should focus on. All right, so thank you very much for watching. This has been the Warrior, and I'm gonna see you in the next video. We're streaming all the time. Very soon we're gonna reach level 80, and I'm gonna start a new build, new adventure to grind. Love this game, can't wait to see what more they have in store for us. Thank you very much for watching. See you guys in the next one.